everyone, it's Jackie at Spare Room Studio, and I am back to do part 2 of this particular page, which is called The Morrigan, and it is in Goddess by Jaren. So this is how the page ended up. Let's make sure that we are on camera. That's how the page ended up when I finished the first video, and in hindsight I'm wishing I hadn't done the background now, but I have, so I need to sort of carry on and finish this off. I think it does need something down here, and I just wanted to show you that there is no bleed through on that page. A little tiny bit there is all that we've got on that page, and that's from using the Koi colouring brush pens. So I'll carry on, and my plan is still to try and complete this page only using the watercolours and that little bit of Koi colouring brush pen. So what I'm going to do is I think I will bring some more gold and metallics into the rest of that. I'm thinking these feathers here need to have a bit of a blue tinge, or we're not going to see them. So we'll put the ultramarine into that bit there. And I feel like we need a little bit more darkness in the hair to get some contrast. There isn't enough contrast yet. And I'll bring some black or darker colour into that as we go along. So I'll go back to the Payne's Grey. For darkening up some of these areas on the birds. So the page has dried quite cockled or buckled or wrinkly, however you want to describe that. I did say in the first video I might have a go at ironing the page, but we'll see how that ends up. Maybe once I've put some heavy books on top of it, it might flatten out a little bit more anyway. And to be honest, apart from what it looks like for showing you guys, I actually don't really care about that. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I can live with that. I just accept that it's part of working with water, and I enjoy that so much that, you know, that's just something I'm willing to put up with. So I'm just coming with a bit of black now, just to get some darker bits happening. I don't really want to use too much, as I've explained before. I feel like it just deadens things a bit too much. Need to knock that back a bit because it was a bit too bright. I mean, it is a black bird, so you know, we have to accept that, or I have to accept that. So that was a bit too dark there, so what I'm doing is just pushing that back into the area where I've just wet it with quite a bit of water. So I'm going between the two, the Payne's Grey and the black. So I'm just gradually darkening it now. I started off really lightly to get an idea of what I wanted, and now I just I'm going back and deepening some of those areas. The watercolour does of course dry a little bit lighter than you put it on. This one up here was so light, he doesn't even look like he's a crow really, so I need to bite the bullet and just accept that I'm going to have to put some black onto this page. So I'm just having to keep an eye on Hamish. He's wandered down here. And I just need to keep an eye on him that he doesn't get up to any mischief. So I'm just using the same combination of colours as earlier, putting some of that ultramarine in there. Just to give that variation. Hamish. Hamish, what are you doing? Boy. For those of you who are not aware, I have a dog that we adopted from a rescue, and it's about 3 months now that we've had him, and he's still settling in. He's quite a fearful dog, and we've had quite a few issues with him recently. Some regression. He is toilet trained. He has got a doggy door, but he started doing some accidents in the house. Generally, when I don't pay enough attention to him, he seems to do it. And so when he's wandering around, I get a bit nervous. We have got mostly hard flooring, which isn't a big problem, but he always seems to choose to do it on a rug, which is very annoying. So now it sounds like he's got himself some sort of chewy toy. I didn't really want to add any coloured pencil into this. We'll see how it goes when I get the rest of these details finished, but it's the sort of image that might do well with some coloured pencil on top for the details. There are a lot of details in this book. So I'm just going to even up this background a little bit. I use the ultramarine I'm not sure what has happened here. I think it's like a bit of a scratch in the paper, and then the watercolour has almost dyed it. But that is what it is. I'm just going to add a bit of water into there. So yes, as I said at the beginning, in hindsight, I wish I hadn't put colour down here in the background, or any of the background. I think as I looked back on the video, it actually looked better without a background. But it's there now and we have to make the most of it. I certainly don't want to go over it with black or, you know, some solid colour. It is difficult to get into all these little nooks and crannies with a brush. But if I go over that with gold, it doesn't matter anyway if I have a bit of that over the knot, because I can just cover it up with the gold paint. So this side is a little bit tricky because of course it's going into the centre of the book. And I'm trying to keep that flat. I've just got that all over my hand. It might be easier if I just let that bleed over there actually, and I'll go over it with the metallic pen later. So that's how that's looking. I still don't feel like I'm getting these as dark as I want without actually using black. I might have to have a little think on that, how I will actually approach that. I've got a feeling coloured pencils would work much better over the top there. I'll just put those to the side while I do a little bit more of the metallic. So I've decided that I will stick to the gold for here. So I'll just give you a bit of an idea of how that will end up looking. I don't think you need to see me do the whole thing. I have actually deepened up the colour at the back there a little bit after I finished recording the first part. No, I think I'll just turn this book because of the paper being so wet. And hopefully you can see me colouring that. Now I'm doing this pretty roughly. I think what I might do is wait for the jelly roll to dry and then come back and do another layer on top. Because I'm just conscious of the time. I don't really want to labour this too much. I'll let it dry and then decide whether I'm going to bring pencil in or not. And there's an awful lot of crunching going on with that dog. So I might leave that there because you're not really learning anything watching me just colouring with a gold pen. And I'll decide what I'm going to do. There's a little bit of gold up there as well. And I'll decide what I'm going to do with the rest of this page. And if I decide to use coloured pencil, there may be a third part. I feel like I've got a bit lost with this one. I think, yeah, definitely coloured pencils will be coming into it now that I think about it. I might go and get the pencils now. Bear with me. So I've just grabbed my pencil case that has all the various Prismacolors, Artex and you know, oddments that I've got. And I'll just show you a little bit of how I would maybe approach the hair. Let's use a black. I've actually discovered that my little battery operated pencil sharpener here, I put some new blades into it and it's actually sharpening my Artex quite well. After I was having some sharpening issues with the Tagal. So that little sharpener was a quite a cheap sharpener, but you can get replacement blades for it. And it's just a battery operated one. I mean, you do go through batteries quite frequently in it if you use pencils a lot, but with the new blades in, it's actually quite good. I've just got to be careful down here because the paper is still a little bit damp. So what I'm doing is I'm just looking for the areas where I'm going to get the biggest impact by adding that black. And that's actually working quite nicely over the top of the watercolour. I'm a bit disappointed that I couldn't keep this all watercolour, but this is how I tend to roll. You know, I adapt as I go along. That's why I don't really have grand plans when I start out, because I do find I change my mind quite a bit. And also, you just don't know how things are going to work. I mean, this is the first page that I've actually coloured in this book. So I wasn't sure how those watercolours were actually going to work on there. I'm actually going to bring in a little bit of the Faber-Castell Polychromos Delft Blue. And we might actually put some of that into the birds as well. So that's how I would sort of start building it up with the coloured pencil. That could be a whole nother episode as such. I'm just looking for a dark grey that's not too warm. So obviously these bits here need quite a bit of work done to them still. And I have to say I'm getting a bit uncomfortable, so I might have to call it quits for today, at least with this page and recording. Yeah, I'm not really very happy with that at all. Especially this transition here. Not happy with that. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because I'm really not in my best frame of mind for finishing that now. Just have a look at it, what it's like on the camera. You can see it's starting to come to life. But yeah, I think I'm not happy with all of the darkness, but it needs to be dark because they're crows. So I might have to have a think about how I can address that. Okay, well, thank you for watching to this point. Hopefully by the time I come back with another video, if I do come back with another video and show you how I finished that, otherwise you might see this appear in the end of month completed pages, and we'll see how that ends up. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll say goodbye for now.